Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. My name is Jade. This is How to App on iOS. And this is the W.A.R.T Series. How do you do? I hope everybody is doing well today. So, what are we going to do today? I don't know. This is what's fun about this kind of stuff. Because we're going to talk about self-doubt. Because it seems to be a thing that everybody is struggling with. And it seems to be increasing. Along with anxiety and depression. It seems these things seem to be over the last 10 to 5 years, I guess, on the rise constantly, and it's getting to a point where it's getting crippling for many people. Has it always been like that? I believe so. Why is it more prevalent now? It could be a few reasons. The main reason is probably that we can just connect with each other like this at any time of the day, anywhere in the world, across the internet. It's like the old adage of, there are more disasters happening in the world than what there used to be. But are there? Or is it just that we are so much more interconnected now that we just see it more often? So I'm going to ask you guys in the chat, and I'll get to saying hello to you in a moment. And feel free to answer in the chat whatever it is that you create. Be it music, art, video, web design, just creating your space each day where you have to work at, creating your hair, how you look, how you present yourself each day. Why do you do it? Why do you continue to do the things to create things? Why do you create? Because I don't think enough people really question why they are doing these things. And I know I say it all the time on this show. It sounds like a catchphrase, and it kind of is now. To do the things that make you happy. Above everything else. Because what's the point of existing if the things that you're doing don't make you happy? Because if you're seeking it from other people, that's fine. But is it going to be sustaining enough for an entire lifetime? I don't think so. Can you rely on that? No. You can rely on yourself because like every single one of us, we all know. And you know what? Every day when we open our mouths and we talk, we are actually telling people and we're telling ourselves why we do things. The thing is, do we listen to what we say ourselves? Are we actually listening to ourselves? I mean, psychiatry is exactly that, right? So you go in and you sit down with somebody and they ask you a bunch of questions and why? Why do you do this? Why do you feel this way? How does that make you feel? And you basically tell them all the things that are apparently your problems. And then after a period of time and a whole lot of money that you've spent, they spit back at you exactly the things that you've said to them. And most likely what you've been saying for the longest time. The longest time. Do you listen to yourself? Do you really listen to yourself when you speak? And I don't mean, I think many of us spend a lot of time in our head, even when talking with other people, stuck in our head, thinking about what we're going to say next to that person, instead of focusing on when it's our turn to talk, actually what we're saying. Because a lot of the time, when we're saying, actually doing, and it's coming out of our mouth, that's the time that we're most truthful about, what's going on. It's the stuff in the head that we process before a lot of the time to try and cope with what we're going to say next. You know what I'm saying? So let's say hello to some people here. And trust me, do I have self-doubt about doing this? Of course I do. Self-doubt, let me just say, isn't poisonous. It's not evil. It's not anything to be scared of. It's actually healthy. When it's unhealthy is when you let it cripple you from doing anything. All right? Hello, Langston Reese. Hello, Lady Rhodaline Street. Hello, Scott, Benedict Stewart, Cold Acre, Greg Hernandez. I did say Scott. Russ, hello. Jessica Jan. I think I can see. Is Gary Hubbs over there on Facebook? Let me just do this. There we go. That feels better. Now there's a big white screen. Kev Hart, welcome aboard. Pete Johns, good morning. It's 6 a.m. here. Michael Holmes, hello. Kirsten, hello. Good to see you. I hope you're all doing very, very well. If you're over there on Facebook, I a lot of the time, for some reason, where I've set it up, I can't actually see what your name is. Thomas Gillane is here as well. Joey Helpish, howdy do. And Deep Gravity, hi Cam. If I've missed you, hi Christy as well. Hello Christy. So, why? It's okay to ask why. It's okay to have self-doubt, It's okay. Like, I'm not here to tell you that it's all shit, because it's not. It's okay. All right? If you don't have experienced these things, okay, you're not going to get over them. You're not going to move to a different place. Oops. Okay, so look, we're born into this world. And you know what we're born into? We're born into this. It's a pretty ugly looking thing, right? And somehow along the way of our humanity, our society, whatever it is we have created for ourselves, we accept this as the standard, okay? We come out of a living human being and we're forced into a box, right? And then we're put into a box to learn about how to cope with the next box. And we spend a whole lot of years in there with other people in this box. And then we come out of that box and they put us into another box with older people in preparing for the next box. And then we finish the educational part of the box system to go to work in another box where everybody's in this box all together going, we don't want to be in this box. Why are we in here? What is this? And then when you do something wrong, they punish you with putting you, believe it or not, guess where? Guess where they put you? If you step out of order, if you break the rules of the box, they put you in an even smaller box. as a punishment. And you know what? As you keep going on, the gift at the end of it is this one. All these boxes manifest a lot of self-doubt and demons and insecurity and pressure, unnecessary stuff that we place on ourselves within our little box. Now, I'm not saying I have all the answers or any answers for that. I'm talking from my experience today. I don't like being placed in boxes. I never have. I love learning, but I don't need to be placed in the smallest possible box. Okay? To be able to be hungry enough to learn and want to create and manifest and share love and all these amazing things that come out of this meat bag that I am. All right? My body is not a prison. Okay? I can transcend my body and create amazing things, and all of us can do that. Boxes full of demons. I don't know if any of you saw this preacher recently. I forget his name. I don't want to say his name because it's not worth it. How he talked about, I fly in my jets because I don't want to be on planes with people stuck in tubes with other demons. Right? With demons. Because being stuck in a box is surrounding yourself with demons, things that echo off walls and stuff like. All right, so it's like keeping the thoughts in your head, bouncing them off the sides of your head continuously, around and around and around and around. Guess what? It's going to reverberate to the point that you create paranoia, self-doubt, hopelessness. You feel terrible about yourself. Same kind of concept about these boxes and institutions, being surrounded by kids who are there to learn, but still working out who the hell they are. So they're picking on each other, and there's no opportunities to really learn or do anything like that because there's this reverberation of fear, which breeds negativity and so forth. It's why I try to not stay within these boxes and always promote, if you're making music, step outside of the comfort zone. Step outside of it. I'll let you know today, folks. Today's music, if you call it that, is created using radio unit. The most... When I first saw it, I thought, why the hell would somebody make an AUV3 plugin with freaking radio stations on it? Who would buy this? This is stupid. I'm now using it for this. Who would have imagined that? Would the developer have imagined that? I don't think so. Did I imagine that before this show? No. Only 10 minutes before, thought, that's an idea. Because I'm not restrained by a box. I didn't sit here and sweat over it and think, what am I going to do for this? I believe that I can. And you can. And sometimes you can't. But when you can't, there's a way that you can. How confusing is that, yeah? All right. Let's go back to some art for a bit. Because I'm just going to draw some stuff while we're talking. Because really, that's all this is. So why? Why do you create? Why do you make music? Why do you Why do you cook? What is it? What are the things? Answer me in the chat. Feel free to tell me, why do you make music? Why do you create art? Just throw it in there while I'm finding some brushes here, because I've got some charcoals here. These will be fun. I'll tell you why I make music. Because it feels good. It's always felt good. I like it. It makes me smile. Helps me cope with things. Helps me process things. Christy says it gives her comfort and self-preservation. Pete says start with why. It should be the first question and not the last. It certainly should. Why? Why? Why do you get up in the morning? Why do I get up in the morning? I tell you this every day on this show almost. I get up because I fear that I won't if I don't do this. I get up to do this, and then everything else is a bonus. Kim says, I make music because it makes me want to live. Wow. It makes me want to live. How massive is that? I know it sounds dramatic, but it's true. It gives me purpose. Joey Helpish says, it's how I understand and communicate feelings and emotions. Scott says, enjoy building things, starting out and seeing where it takes me. Feels like I'm trying to communicate or express. Sharing helps build relationships, keeps me happy. Jessica Jan writes, I create music because it's my way of bleeding out pain and understanding myself. And of course, because I love doing it. Most folks step outside that box and gave art to themselves. That box, when became gradually larger, we realized that we aren't alone and there is space in here for all of us together, says Kev Hart. Ross says, I make music because I like listening to music. Tom says, I actually feel ill if I haven't created music in a while. It's necessary for me to be whole. I corrected you, Tom, even though I saw you remove the message. These are some pretty massive things, man. Right? Pretty massive stuff. Let's be honest. So if I could draw all of what you just said then, now that it kind of looks like I'm drawing a sky here. Is it kind of like this? That's what it is, yeah? It's that bright, shining light that keeps you motivated and happy. And Cam says that music lights up the dark places. Okay, so everybody's been really honest here about what it does for them. So now I'm going to ask you all, what is it that holds you back from making your music, your creativity, your art to the fullest? What are the things that hold you back? Just one thing. Just write one thing in the chat that you think holds you back. As Benedict Stewart says, I create music and art as it helps me cope with things and it makes me happy. I enjoy listening to music and looking at art. Because no one's going to have the same answer, right? Nobody's going to have the same answer. What is it that holds me back? I'll tell you while you're writing here. It's my fear of imperfection. imperfection, even though in my brain I know perfection doesn't exist. I still let it exist, right? Now trust me, I've got a lot better at this over the years. A lot better at this. Because I know it doesn't exist. And I know that mistakes make you better. And I know that I love doing the things that make me happy. But sometimes, and it's not due to what anybody else is creating, or jealousy or anything like that. It just sometimes hits, and I believe this sucks. And can I do better? And I always can do better. But the thing is, I've learned to take a step back when this happens now. Just go and do something else that makes you happy. I've said that many times on this show. So when that creeps in, when that insecurity, when those demons on my shoulder start coming up and saying, you suck, you're crap, you can't do this. You know what? They're right in that instant, in that specific instant, because we're not perfect. And every day when you get up, and for me personally as a singer, I'm an organism. My voice is an organism. It's not a guitar that can be tuned. It's similar to a guitar because guitar strings break, and sometimes I wake up and I'm broken. I'm not feeling good that day. So instead of pushing through it or beating myself up about it, you know what I'll go and do? I'll go and play Grand Theft Auto and go beat other pretend people up. So Lady Redline says, my own insecurity. Deep Gravity says, me. Russ says, nothing. Of course you do, Russ. Gary Hub says, time or lack thereof. Jessica Jan says, I hold back because I can't handle being ridiculed by those who don't like my music. Christy says, music to me without being at any level religious. God, music is the energy that we all share and vibrates through us all the time and space, and helps manifest a collective and ancestral knowledge. That was deep. Greg Hernandez says, feeling overwhelmed by the complexity of the apps and doors and yourself. Being afraid that I accidentally ripped off someone else's music, says Kim. Don't worry about that. We're all ripping off each other's music. We're all doing it. Distractions, probably the biggest thing, says Tom Rochelle. Self-doubt, hold me back. David Asher says, because when I was 10, I had the choice of karate lessons and guitar lessons, and I already thought I was a ninja, so... Joey Helpish says, absolutely nothing. One of the boxes I've destroyed. Exactly. All right, so... the thing to do is to get outside of your head. We make music to be happy, right? And we make music because it resonates. It is a language. It's something that vibrates with us, okay? And it vibrates with other people. And you know what? Even these words that I'm saying to you today, they're shit. They're worthless. They're garbage. The language that we've been provided, no matter what dialect or language, English, whatever, it's shit. And it can never convey what I'm trying to convey right now, because I'm not playing music right now. I believe that music is the language that we all should be actually speaking and communicating with. That is it. That's my opinion, okay? That's why we naturally gravitate to music. I mean, it's pretty hard to find somebody on this planet who doesn't like music. My dad, he doesn't like music, but he's a carrot. And I find it hard to get along with people who don't like music or art or any form of expression. So I see in there too, and look, I want to move on to this, and look, I'm all over the place today. I don't know what I'm doing with this. I'm just talking about my experiences, listening to what goes on in with you guys. But I think what we're doing right now is one of the ways to work through this, by finding the people that speak your language. Okay, being a trans person, when I first, before I came out as a trans person, okay, everybody kind of liked me. I didn't have too many people that disliked me. Sure, there were people who thought maybe I was arrogant or an asshole when I played in bands because I didn't say hello to them or something like this. These things that you can't really change people's opinions of. But life was okay. The day I actually changed gender and started dressing in the opposite gender and felt, in my mind and how I saw things, that things were going right, the entire world wanted me dead. To actually go through that, right? And actually walk down the street and have people verbally yell out at you, "Die, you piece of shit," for absolutely nothing, right? It's very hard to understand, very hard to compute in my head. Unfortunately for me, I lashed out and was violent, and I punched quite a few people in the head because of the built-up anger and stuff that I'd carried around for the longest time. It got quite a bit messy. Here I was trying to be a lady, Florence, and I was punching people in the head out in public for verbally slating me, for existing, right? And I don't wish that on anybody. But again, now looking back on it, made me a much better person. Made me a much better person. Because now, when I have those insecurities about playing music and how people are going to take my music, how people are going to take my whatever endeavors that I do, like this show or my opinions or anything like this, if they don't agree, fine. I have no problem with that. Go your way, I'll go my way. I actually instead stopped punching people in the head when I was walking around outside. When I stopped thinking about it, when I stopped looking for it, when I stopped looking for those people. Because that's what it was. It wasn't that these people had just come out of nowhere and started hating on me. You know what I did? I did this. I actually went back to the drawing board and asked, if I can get my pencil working. Why were they doing it? Why were they doing it to me? It's because they were assholes. Nothing to do with me. As soon as you begin to realize that there are just assholes on this planet, right? They just start to vanish. You can make them disappear from your life. You can make these kind of people disappear. And it's like people say about trolls, don't feed the trolls. And sure, trolls are always going to upset you. You're going to read comments that trolls write, and they're going to create this self-doubt in your head. Do you know them? No, you don't. You do know where they are, too? The most painful thing about those poor people? You start to pity them when you realise where they are. I'll show you where they are, those people. They're stuck in there. Help me. I'm so angry. Help me. They're too busy asking me and you, why? Why? Why do you do that? Why is this like, why do they do that? Why? And you know what? What we do, it doesn't affect them, and they're not asking themselves what makes them happy. Essentially cancelling themselves out. They feel like nothing. They're trying to suck you dry. I call them energy vampires. There's plenty of them around. They can't even start with that basic question of why. Why do they do the things that they do? What makes them happy? They're too busy questioning everybody else and blaming everybody else, because you know what? Because you're doing what makes you happy. You're creating the things that make you happy. You're doing those things that are absolutely imperfectly perfect. What do you say to them? You know what you say to them? You don't say anything to them. You let them go on their merry way, and you do what you need to do. And you know what? Once you start writing these people out of your life, you start just cancelling them, just letting them do their thing. You start finding communities that are more like you. This is one of those communities for me, right? So let's go back to the beginning. I started this channel to get out of bed each day. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. I collect a lot of apps. I like to make music. But the main reason was to get out of bed each day. That's the main focus. And you guys came here with me. Now that you're here, and other people are coming here as well, I've got even more reason to come here each day. Not only to get out of bed, but to hang out with other people who are probably getting out of other situations to be here, you know? Huh. Imperfectly perfect, all right? Music theory. Knowing how to use compression or doors, or knowing the right color palette for painting, or the right filters for photography, or all these things. You know what? Fuck that shit. Because if you're not enjoying what you do, and just exploring the creativity and getting it all out of your head, all the theory in the world, it doesn't matter. Does anybody even know who Kurt Cobain is? You know what I'm saying? There's so many people who are concerned about being perfect and doing everything perfect and knowing every single app, and like I'm going to be honest with how I do this show each day. I do these apps. A lot of them I have no idea how to even use myself. I may have got sent one from a developer a day ago, and I sit here and swat over it, and each time a few hours before go, what the fuck am I doing, man? What am I doing? I'm learning this along with everybody else. That's the way to learn. That's what it's all about. Where are we? Let's go down here. We need a thicker pencil than that. That's a bit better. Don't let your body be your box. Don't let it hold you back. Let it be a part of your mind, of everything that you create. Align it with your mind. Your mind can be ugly, your mind can be beautiful. Your external body can be beautiful, and at times it can be ugly. But it's never going to be the same, ever. It's always changing. And we can be the change that we want to see. Right? We can be those stones that skip across a river, no matter how small the ripples. You can't change the world being one person. Can you change the world as a collective? Sure, you can do that. Can you do it instantly? Not really. Everything's over time. Everything's a long game. What I'm talking about today doesn't even really provide any answers. What I'm trying to do with this series is to verbalize this stuff. Going back to the start, we live in a world where we collect friends on Facebook and we don't even know them. We don't even connect with many of them. We never speak to them once we add them. They lurk on our page, we lurk on their page, we randomly see them hither, there, and okay? If you can count on your hand 5 friends, you are killing it. You are absolutely killing it. Don't let one person ever cut you down and think that you're worthless. You're not going to appeal to everybody, because everybody is in a different place dealing with this dude here. You know what though? This dude doesn't even exist. This is a myth. The demons in our head are us There's no demons, there's no devils, there's no Satan. There's just unnecessary fear placed on us by people who want to keep us in boxes. Being a creative person, even if you're not creative, pick something else up. Pick something up. Become creative. It doesn't matter what you do, right? Go play video games. Go for a walk. Build a fucking house out of cards. It doesn't matter what you do. Create something. Step back and look at it. And enjoy it for the time that you invested into it and made something from nothing. Because that's what being creative is about. Taking nothing and turning it into something. And if you are pursuing, Gary Hubbs has just written something here. I had a lot of self-doubt when I was pursuing a career in fine arts. It didn't make me happy. Now in my second creative endeavor, I try to give 0 Fs. But rejection still sucks. You know what? And rejection still does suck. And it always will suck. But it sucks less when you start to realize people who need to verbalize and let you know that you suck is just a reflection of them. Seriously, the amount of comments I've had since doing this show that have been "you suck" have been surprisingly easier to deal with this time around in this creative venture. Why? Because there's so many people who say things are good. And this is the final thing I'm going to end on for this. Oops. What happened there? My music disappeared. It was just getting into a crescendo. There we go. It was perfect timing. Start listening to the people that actually take the time to actually listen to your stuff, listen to you, and give you feedback. Constructive feedback. Stop paying attention to the fuckwits and the arseholes and pay attention to the people who actually take the time to listen, take the time to give constructive feedback, and take the time to be there every single day, and take the time to say hello to you and ask you how you are, right? Even if it doesn't seem like there's many of them, having at least 2 of those, having 1 of those in your life means you're winning, right? There's always going to be more people that actually give a shit and that will actually say nice things and will actually pump you up. It's about finding those people, seeking out those people. Ask yourself why each time. Why? Why am I doing this? Once you understand why, you can start working out what, who, where, how. Because you'll find those like-minded people. And those people who are just continuously trying to create self-doubt. This motherfucker here, they become irrelevant. They absolutely become totally irrelevant. They just drift into the background. I had a comment on one of my YouTube videos yesterday. It had gone to spam. I opened it up and it said, "You're a fucking ugly tranny." And maybe a few years ago that really would have upset me. But I don't give a fuck if I'm ugly to somebody. I don't give a fuck if I'm a transgender person. I've dealt with it. I really have. And that's the place you need to get to. Alright? If you're working towards getting to a place that you want to be, why? Why are you doing that? To feel better about yourself? These comments will disappear. And when making music and when doing these things, if you're having self-doubt, send it to somebody. You know what? Just put it all out there. Just throw it all the fuck out there. Get outside the box, kick the box apart, and just throw it all out there. Give the haters plenty to hate, and give the lovers plenty to love. Ultimately, just be yourself. Because if you're trying to please somebody else, you know where you are, don't you? If you're trying to please somebody else, that's where you'll be forever. Don't let yourself stay in a box. You're too brilliant and bright to be stuck in a box. You're too shiny and beautiful to be stuck in a box. You're too valuable, wonderful, expressive and creative, and mind-blowingly amazing to be stuck in a boring old brown box full of boring old brown self-hating pieces of brown shit. I love you all. Keep being you. Do the things that make you happy. Keep making mistakes. We all rise together. They're more than catchphrases. I'll see you later.